Redaction is an important capability of any investigative tool because after you've identified a specific event and you want to get more information about it or you want to share it more broadly, you might want to blur out people that are not part of that particular investigation for privacy reasons. In many jurisdictions, including Europe and many US states, this is actually required by law. And so a lot of time is spent by investigators in actually doing the redaction. You can think about hours and hours of work going frame by frame before sharing anything broadly. With Dragonfruit, using AI, we reduce that time by 10 to 100 times. And I want to show you a live demo of how it works now. As you know, with Dragonfruit, you can bring in video for an investigation from anywhere. It could be from a VMS, and all you have to do if you're connected to a VMS, like a Milestone or a Genetic or Exact Vision, is select the camera from the listing that you get from the VMS, choose a specific time range, a date and time range, and add event. At this point, Dragonfruit is going to go to the VMS, get the right footage, bring it as an event. In fact, if you have loose media from a smartphone or a Nest or a Ring camera, you can you bring that into the same investigation using our Dragonfruit client, which is like a Dropbox kind of thing. It shows up as a folder on your computer, you drag stuff into it, and boom, it shows up in the event. Or you could upload using our web interface as well. However you bring an event in, you can click on it, and right there you will see a button called Redact. Now, you would imagine that our Redact feature would let you go frame by frame and blur out people and vehicles. Well, it can do that, but because we are using AI, we're actually able to automatically redact all of the things that you need to look at first. So when I load a redaction clip here, what it's doing is in real time, it goes and detects all of the vehicles and people and then applies a blur filter. You'll notice in this scene that there's one vehicle that is not blurred. This is because we can actually apply settings on each of these people and vehicles across their entire lifespan during the clip. So if I play this, you'll notice that everything is blurred, but this particular car is not. How do you do that? It's very simple. All you do is click on one of them. Okay, you can choose this person, you can choose this vehicle, and you can change the blur settings. So I can say blur object throughout. Now that same vehicle is going to get blurred in its entirety. So if I play now, you'll notice that the object is blurred. Now you'll notice that I'm not doing anything frame by frame. I'm not going step by step and trying to fiddle around with it. It has automatically applied this entire redaction across the timeline. Now you can do other things as well. So you might want to remove this border because it's maybe quite distracting. So I want to remove the border around it, and this one I want to unblur again, and I can just go play. So now you will notice that you have more control on how the appearance looks like. Okay, you can see these vehicles going. I mean, this is pretty amazing because all of this work has already been done by the system. But you might say, wait. Actually, at this point, I want to add a redaction on something. Like this person right there in the distance, your algorithms didn't catch it. And it's very important for me to blur that like fuzzy little person in the back. Well, that's not a problem. You just click and I have a filter on top of that person. I can drag it, drop it, resize it, whatever you want to do. In fact, I can even say that this little car here, you didn't get a good didn't do a good job, right? So I'm going to change this a little bit just for this frame. And you know what, I'm going to check the next frame also. Maybe you guys got it wrong there as well. Yep. Let me change that a little bit here as well. And just for good measure, I want to add a blur here as well. Okay, now I want to restart. Okay, let's start again, right? And I want to play from the very beginning. So I have that car that is that has unredacted. There's a fuzzy car behind it without a bounding box, not a problem. And you will notice in a few seconds that all of the changes that I made on a frame by frame basis are going to show up. When they do, I'm going to pause and come back to it. This is the redaction feature that we have created. This allows you to be way faster at redaction. And then once you're done, you can, of course, share it. Now, we're back to that red light, right? So these cars are going to start moving. And you'll notice that the manual frames that we have added are going to show up just in a second. Boom. Did you see that? This frame where we had created a bounding box here, one over here, and you can play around with that. And here, where I updated it in the next frame as well. Super simple. But once you're done with it, what do? You want to share it, right? So here, you can just click on share. You can keep it private, or you can create a public redaction URL, even add a password. My funny password here is secret, and copy URL. That's it. You're done. If I share this in a browser with anyone in the world, they of course will have to enter the password and access. At this point, you can get the redacted video. All of the changes that you have made are all live in here. So if I play it now, you'll see the exact same thing. That car is unredacted. The one behind it doesn't have a box. It's redacted. And all of the changes that we just made are all there for the users. Of course, none of the people who are looking at this URL can change anything. They can only view it. But it is available for sharing right away. And all of the changes that you have made will persist. This is the redaction feature with Dragonfruit.